Yep. Good morning, everyone. So last session we discussed about different operators. Have you tried that exercise? Able to do it? Anyone successfully done that? Anyone finished that successfully? I given some technique also now. Anyone done that online, from online people? Anyone? I asked you to try one filtering like example. So if you can try that, that is good for designing of operators and all, right? So once you know how we can manage that, we discussed about few operators. What are those? Arithmetic operators, comparison, logical operators, assignment operators. We have bitwise operators. Bitwise I will show you towards the end because they need binary management. For that, we need to learn some memory management. Then we can understand bitwise how to use. We have another category, operators. We have special operators. In JavaScript, you have another category called special operators. What are these special operators and how to deal with them? So many special operators are there. JavaScript special operators. Few already we discussed. Few special operators we already learned. Like one we learned about ternary operator. Ternary operator is defined by using question mark colon, right? Another we learned about new operator. What is the purpose? New array, new date, new map. We learned about new operator. What is the purpose? It is called as, it is a dynamic memory allocation operator. Allocation operator. It is dynamic memory allocation operator. The new operator is a dynamic memory allocation operator. Already we saw some examples on that. So new array, new map, we have new operator, so many. Next important, we learned delete operator also. Delete operator. I showed you about delete operator in working with objects, right? What is delete operator? Delete operator purpose, remembered? New operator, memory allocation, means ternary operator, conditions. Let me give the syntax. We have a condition, question mark on true and colon on false. New operator is equal to some, suppose collection is equal to new array. So we learned about now is equal to new date. All these are dynamic memory allocation operators. Delete operator, which purpose we used? I explained delete operator also. Delete operator, actually the purpose of delete operator is it is used to remove any property from object. Already I showed you that. So that means you can simply use delete object name dot property name. It is going to remove that particular operator. Already I showed you in map you have a delete method. But for an ordinary object, if you want to remove any property, then you have to use which one? Delete. Already I showed you delete operator also. This also comes under special. We learned about in operator. In operator also we use in. What is the purpose of in operator? It is used to find any property in object. Already I showed you it is a Boolean one, right? That means what we have to do, suppose price is a property in object name. What it is going to do, it is going to return true or false. It is going to return true or false. If that property is there, it will return true. Otherwise, it will return false. Right? So we learned about in operator. We learned about ternary operator, new operator, delete operator. Actually, these all comes under the category of special operators. They are all under special operator. Next, we are having another operator. So that is type of. This also I told you. Type of. It is used to get the data type. The data type of value stored in a reference. This also I showed you. So we learned how to know the data type. That means we have to use type of product dot property, or you can define simply type of some variable name. It will return the data type of that. That is it a number? Is it a string? Types it will return. So several special operators we already used. We worked with different types of special operators. We used these special operators. So already we know about some special operators. Some more are there. So we have ternary, new, delete, in, type of. Another important in the operators, we have void. Actually, it is used to discard the return of. It is used to discard the return of any function actually. But we haven't learned about functions. We will learn about them. But what is void operator? I will give one example. Without function also, you can understand a simple situation. I will tell you. Later while learning functions, I will tell you. Actually, what is the concept of void is, suppose, see here, I am designing a page. I created an anchor and it is home. Now, our responsibility is to design a link which can navigate to home. But generally in project, what they will ask is, they will say that design this navigation. Functionality for that navigation, another person will give. Your responsibility is only design the navigation. Functionality, that means you design a link and give to him. Another person will implement that link. He will tell when link is clicked where to navigate. Right? That navigation part he will do. You just design a link and give. Then if I return like this, is it a valid link? It is not a valid link, because each and every concept that you return will be tested actually. It is tested by your testing team. Even the functionality is later implemented by others. Up to now, what you return, they will test it. In unit testing, each and every part of the function will be tested. That means it is not completed, but still your functionality will be tested. Now, when it tests, it will show an error here. it will show an error when it is tested. What is the error? It says that you designed a link, but for this link, there is no href. Usually link should have an href. It is saying that link is not having href. So how to make it pass the test? We have to tell the testing team that this is a link, but it's not implemented. It's implemented further later. How you will tell that? You return href, and you keep it empty. Then this is again error. Why again error? Because you designed a link, but that link is having empty href. Empty href is invalid. So that means, will this link work? It will work, but it will show empty. The link will post, but it will show empty. Suppose you write like this. Is this valid? Is this valid? This is also not valid. Why it is not valid? Because hash refers ID. Now our testing team will tell that you are referring an ID. Where is ID? These are all technical things. Then how do I design a link? It will pass the testing, but it is incomplete. So you see here, actually, when you run this page, when you are going to run this page, you see it is link not visited. When I click that link, its color will change. Means it is visited link. How it will be visited? No functionality is written now. That is the reason there must be link, but it should not work, because it will be implemented later. In future, it will be implemented. Then how do we handle that? That means, how do we handle that situation? Nothing but generally what we do is, to handle that situation, usually what we do is, here in href, we will write a JavaScript function. JavaScript and colon, here JavaScript is expecting a function. And we will simply put void like this. This indicates that this link is not going to return anything. Void indicates no return. Void indicates that there is no return. Void is not a technical word. It's a general English word, right? Suppose we say that I am talking to a friend who is beside me. I am talking to him, but he is in void state. You are talking to him, but he is in void state means he is not responding. I am unable to understand he is listening or not. He is not responding, no return from him. Then it is called as what? Void state. That means it's a simple void state, not returning anything. That is general thing actually. So what is the meaning of void? Void indicates that. So it is not going to return anything. If it is not going to return anything, why you return? Because later, according to the situation, it can be implemented to return something. As of now, it will not return anything. Later, it can be implemented. You see now links look like this. And when I click on it, it is not changing its color. Means visited link color will be different now. It is not changing. That means it's not visited. That means it is not returning anything. How you done that? How you can manage this? This is done by using what? Void. Void. So this is very popular concept. So generally you will see later in the functions also. So this is void is an operator. Remember, these are all not keywords. Many times in some technologies, they call these as keywords. But in JavaScript, these are all operators. Many technologies will call them as new keyword. but technically new is not a keyword here. It is an operator. New operator, type of operator, void operator, these are all operators. We have another operator, instance of. Instance of is nothing but, so it returns true if the object is derived from specified class. We haven't learned about classes as of now. Later we will learn about them. In OOP concepts, you will see how to work with classes. But point is, instance of means it will verify whether the object is derived from that particular class or not. That means, for example, suppose I am giving like this. Suppose I am creating a script. We are having some var, suppose obj is equal to new array. That means this object is of what type? Array type. Like var this is obj1 and this is obj2. This is a date type. That's a date type. Var obj3. This is what? Map type. Now, suppose somebody designed these objects and given to you. You are not the person who designed. That means objects are designed and given to you. You can just use the object. If you haven't designed any object and you are trying to use that object. So if you are not designing the object and trying to use the object, usually, how do you know what object it is? Is it an array? Is it a object string? Is it a map? How do we know? For that, we can have one simple comparison. We can use a simple comparison. What is that comparison? So here you can use a simple comparison like this. So I am writing document dot write. So I am just using in document dot write. We can say here obj1 is derived from date. obj1 is derived from date. So here we can use obj1 instance of date. We will write like this. obj1 instance of date. Sorry, some spell is coming. Huh? So here obj1 is derived from what? Is derived from date. Let's see, is it derived from date? It is not derived from date. Then you can see it returns a message false. That means you can verify from where it is derived from, right? For example, I am defining here, so another line. So here I am creating another statement here. So obj1 is derived from array. That means it is an instance of what? Instance of array. Instance of array. Then it returns true. So from which class it is derived? Later we can create our own classes. Then it is very important to understand whether the object belongs to that particular class, is derived from that particular class or not. That you can manage by using this technique, right? This is basically how we can use instance of. But one interesting point here is that actually every complex class related member is finally treated as object. Instance means is an object. That means, for example, if anybody is testing, is obj1 derived from object? So that means here instance of, we have a type called object. If anybody tries this, always it will return true, because you derive from array, you derive from map, you derive from date. Every time it is an object only. If you use the root type, that means remember all classes are derived from object. I told you object is a pseudo class now, right? It is a pseudo class. That means all objects in JavaScript are derived from this object base. So you see object here. When I use this object, and that object, you can see it returns true. If anything is compared as object, so then it is true. So that means what you have to know here is, actually you should know that. So object is the root for all types, for all data types. It is the root for all data types. That means all, you can say non-primitive types, non-primitive data types. It is the root for all non-primitive data. That is the reason we can use this object also. Directly this object also can be used. Regularly we don't see people using it, but we can use this object. I will tell you one simple technique here. Suppose in many interviews, in object already I showed you that point. If anybody asks like how to access all keys, from an object. How to access all keys from an object. How you can access all keys from an object. Actually, for that I already explained what you can do for var property in object. That means that property is nothing but it is going to return the key now. That means, for example, var key in object, it is going to return all the keys. Suppose you see now here, I am creating an object where some product is an object. It have name, so it have price, and it have stock. Some details are present. So it have stock. All these details are present. Now here important is how you know what keys are present in this object. We can use a simple for var key in. We have to use in. What is the object? Product. Document.write, we are printing the key. It is going to return all the keys and display all the keys. All keys will come. You can use another technique actually. You can also use object dot keys. So this refers to object name. That means which object you pass the object name, that object related all keys it will return. That is good. Actually, this is an array now. Now, how to print all the keys? It is an array. If it is an array, you know how to read all the values from array, or you can simply add a map. Array na? On array, you can apply a map and you can read every key. Map uses a callback function. Na? This callback function will access every key from that. It will access a key from that and it will return the key. It is going to access the key and this key will be returned. So we have to return the key, right? So one second. 1 second, please wait. Right. So let's start. So how we can access all the keys from that particular object? This is another technique. What is this object? Object is the main root for all complex types. That means whatever non-primitive types are there, for all non-primitive types, this object is the main. Then you can try like this. So let's see, let's remove this now. And you can see the data is not printed here. We will write what is the type object. Object dot what? So we have keys. So in this keys, so we have to use a simple which object related keys. So which object related keys? Object name. Object is product. And observe the type here. So when you observe the type here, this type, it is a return type is string array. String array. So what is the result of this? It is returning a string array. Then what we have to do is we have to just array means you know how to handle it. We can use map. We can read every map uses a callback function. In that we have to read every key that is coming. Then we will print the key document.write. I'm just printing as list item, suppose. So in a list item, we are printing the key. Then we will use that key. As a list item, we are printing, and you can see it can print all the keys. This is another technique actually, right? Now, if you want to know what this complex object contains, you can try like this. So let's do one thing. So for var property in object type, object is the type. Document.write, I am using property br. This is to know what properties it is having. You can see object is having. Object is, this is object. Object is constructor. That means it is not having all of them. So in this object, you see the properties what we have. The properties you can see, we have keys now. I'm just using that keys. This is going to return those keys type. Keys is a simple one. Okay. It is going to return, what is it? It's just a constructor. It is returning an array only. Okay. We will use of. So it is returning keys array. All right. Of which object? Object name is what? Product. It will get that, right? You can use any technique. I'm just using map previous. I'm just using a for how to access them. So this is just to understand how we can access the object. What is the root type? The root type is what type? Object. So array is an object, string is an object, math is an object, every complex type is an object, date is also object. So if I say is date instance of object, it will return true. Is map instance of object? True. So array instance of object? True. Right? All are derived from the root type. Right? This is one important you need to understand. These are all what kind of operators? Special operators. These all are special operators. We have ternary, you have new, you have delete, you have in, type of, void, instance of. These are all operators. So this is all about the important JavaScript operators. You will see some more operators in various statements now. We'll understand about. When we learn OOP concept, I will show you. Technically, operators are classified into various types depending on what type of value they return and depending on how many operands they use. So like we have unary, binary, ternary operators. We have arithmetic, so comparison, assignment, logical, and special type of operators. These are depending on types of values, right? This is all you need to know about the operators and the operator types in JavaScript, right? That is basic JavaScript operators. How do we handle them and how do we work with them? So after understanding the operators in JavaScript, so we have to know another is JavaScript statements. JavaScript statements. So you have learned variables, so data types, operators, and statements. Now we will see the statements. What is the purpose of a statement in computer programming? What is the purpose of a statement in computer programming? Actually, statement in computer programming is used to control the execution flow. That is the purpose. A statement is used to control the execution flow. That means actually all the concepts in a program compile in sequential order. That means one after another, a program is going to execute everything in a sequential order. If you want to control the flow, that means at certain place, you don't want some statements to execute. You don't want some actions to function. You want to ignore some. You want to skip and continue from some location. This all is controlled by using statements. A computer program executes everything in a sequential order from begin to end. You want to control the flow. You want to change the directions. Then you have to do that by using statements. So actually, JavaScript statements are classified into various groups. So we have selection statements. Selection statements are defined by using if, else, switch, case, default. These are the keywords used for selection statements. We have jump statements. We have jump statements like break, return, continue. These are jump statements. We have looping statements. We have like for, while, and do while. These are looping statements. We have iteration statements. Like we have for in, we have like for off. These are iteration. Looping and iteration difference I told you, if you remembered. Later also I will show you. I told you for loop and for iterator. We will see here detailing. While working with arrays, we can use them, right? So iteration statements. We have exception handling statements. Exception handling statements like try, catch, throw, finally. These are exception handling statements. So JavaScript statements, usually statements are used for controlling the execution flow. And statements are classified into several groups: selection statements, iteration statements, jump statements, looping statements, and exception handling. Let's see how to use them. Already you used them here and there, but technically every detail point we will see so that we can correctly understand their situations, right? First, we will start with selection statements. So what is the purpose of selection statement? If, else, switch, case, default, these are all selection statements. What is the purpose of selection statements? Actually, selection statements are used in decision making. Selection statements are used in decision making. In computer programming, decision making is done by selection statement. Decision making is nothing but it checks for valid state. It checks for the valid state and continues and continue. So continue. So a set of statements based on state, right? It checks the valid state and it will continue based on the state. Decision making is nothing but blindly it will not execute everything. It will verify, is this suitable for this situation? If it is suitable for this situation, it will execute. Otherwise, it will skip. This is decision making. So selection statements in computer programming are used in decision making. I will show some examples. What is this decision making? In this decision making, first we will see how to handle the if select. If select is nothing but it is a decision making statement. Decision making statement used to execute a set of statements based on the given Boolean expression. Based on the given Boolean expression. So actually it have several forms. If select have several forms. What are those forms? Number one, we have forward jump. We have simple decision. We have multi-level decisions. Multi-level decisions. We have multiple decisions. So we have forward jump, we have simple decision, we have multi-level decision, and we have multiple. These are decision making statements. Decision making statements are nothing but, so if select have several forms: forward jump, simple decision, multi-level decisions, and multiple. What is the difference between them? We will see. Actually, what is forward jump? So forward jump is nothing but it is a decision making. It is a decision making statement that executes only when the given condition is true. Only when the given condition is true. So it is a decision making statement that executed only when the given condition is true. Remember, it will not have any alternative. It will not have any alternative process. It is not going to have any alternative process. It is not having any alternative process. That means it is a decision making statement that is executed. So only when condition is true, and if not true, there is no alternative process. These days, this is very important. Remember, how you write the logic for handling a situation that depends on different developers. But which is the best one for that situation is decision is taken by the developer according to requirement. So I will tell you one point here. Suppose, means I will tell you a simple thing. Actually, you might have seen several websites. They ask you to log in. When they ask you to log in, they will give here, I will create a data list, data term, username, and text box input type is equal to text. Another one is password. Usually what is used for login? Username and password, right? These are used for login. I will just put a button here, say login. Like this I am giving. That means suppose in a website, they have given you an option to login. In that they asked username and password. Now here our simple doubt is like, if user don't enter ID and enter password correctly, will it log in? Will it log in? It will not log in. Then why you are giving that password to verify? What is mandatory to satisfy first? Username. Then why you are asking password? So don't allow user to type password at all until he finish user ID first, because that is primary. That means why you are asking user ID password and user is entering password and without entering user ID properly, then what is use? You are wasting the time of process. You are wasting the time of process. If you have seen few years back websites, they give user ID, password, login. Even Google like people also, you might have seen. Few years back, Google login page, how it will come, user ID, password. There will be one more option, keep me signed in. Keep me signed in, you have to select a checkbox. Remember me for this computer. Like that option will be there. That means I think, so old Google login. You see image, can we find that old Google login? You see the old Google login screen have email password, right? It is having email password, right? But now you see, and they give an option also, stay signed in, email password. Why password to verify if they don't enter user ID properly? It's waste of time. You see now they will say just first enter user ID. After confirming user ID, we will check for password. It is waste of time, even giving a screen for password. This is called forward jump. Forward jump means don't allow to go to next until this is finished. Why you are giving an alternative to do? If you want first one to finish, compulsory, mandatory. If first one is not mandatory, then you can go with alternative. So this approach is called forward jump. Earlier, we design like this. Even today, several websites have this. Which one is best? Which one looks good? That means the forward jump looks good. Suppose you are asking enter payment details. In payment details, card number, CVV, and expiry will be there. Why you are asking CVV expiry without correctly entering card number? Why you are giving a chance to enter CVV and expiry if they don't enter proper card number? It is waste of time for a program to even verify them, to take input from them. This is called forward jump. Forward jump means move to next only when the previous is satisfied. This technique is forward jump. And how you write the forward jump? Usually forward jump is nothing but we write a syntactically, we write like this. We write if we have a condition and so statement on true. Statement on true. And there is nothing else. This is only simple. That means only when condition is true, it will proceed. Otherwise, it will stop. For example, another point I will tell you. I hope this login you understood. That means how people give login earlier. Now how people give login. They use a forward jump approach. Another is, suppose you brought a video game CD. You want to install this video game CD in your PC. Then you cannot install that game until or unless all the conditions are satisfied. That means first it will ask your computer must have minimum 4 GB RAM. Your computer must have a graphic card. Your computer must have minimum 10 GB of hard disk space for running this game. Your computer must have Windows 10 and higher versions. These are the conditions given. Now tell me, if anyone fails, will it install? That means it will stop immediately if that particular stage is not fulfilled. That means it will go to next only when this is fulfilled. This approach is called as what? Forward jump. So you put CD. First it will verify, is it having 4 GB RAM? If there is no 4 GB RAM, will it check for operating system? It will not check for operating system because minimum first one is not satisfied. It is waste of time to check others. Then means it will go to next only when first one is satisfied. This is forward jump. That means, see, let's design one thing here. What we will do here is, suppose in this I am creating, let's create one simple. So this is a field set I am giving here. And a legend, I said payment details. And here I am using a data list, data term, card number. And the data definition, input type is equal to text and ID is equal to card. Another data term, CVV. So input type is equal to text and ID is equal to CVV. And here I just define size is equal to 4. And another data term, expiry, and data definition, I just use the select with an option 2023. So with an option some 2024, with an option so 2025. And here I give an ID as expiry. Now what happens here is I will put a button. So, and you say pay. This looks okay. This looks good. That means let's run this and see. You see, it looks okay. Payment, card number, CVV, expiry. But without entering card number, user can enter CVV, expiry and pay. Then it will verify and it will show a warning saying that please enter proper card number. Right? Why you are allowing to enter CVV expiry if card number is not correct? Now what we will do is here, we will do one thing. This button ID, BTN pay. This button we disabled. This drop down we disabled. This CVV we disabled. And you can see that only text box number is there. Now, what is the condition? Condition is quite simple. If card number is correct, then only enable CVV. That's 100% better. And you can design in such a way that it will not show CVV also. That means you enter correct card number, then it can open CVV. We can show and hide. Or we can keep them, but we will not allow to submit them. That is the good approach. These days we follow this kind of approach, which is good. Forward jump is good because why you are unnecessarily verifying others if the first one is not satisfied. So what to do now? Let's write logic for this and see. What I will do here is we will create here so a script, and we will create an object called user details. User details is an object. This object is having card. Card is having some 44555 6667890. That is actually some card number, suppose, right? And after that, we have CVV. CVV is suppose 4534, like this. We have some expiry. Expiry is like, so 2024. 2024 is expiry. Now what should happen is, here we will write a condition in such a way that when user enters the card number, first we enabled only card number now. That means while he is entering the card number, if card number is successful, then only it will go to CVV. Then we will write here an event like on blur. On blur means when it finish typing, focus, right? Means when it lose focus. On blur, verify card. Okay. We will write a function. The function is verify card. First, we have to collect the card number. Document dot get element by ID card dot value. That means what they entered in text box. Now we have to verify if card. So if card that you entered is matching with user details card. If it is matching with the card number there, then what should happen? Document get element by ID CVV dot disabled. Disabled is equal to false. Disabled equal to false. Otherwise, what should happen? Disabled is false means enabled. You are enabling CVV only when the card number is matching. If card number is not matching, what should happen? Nothing should happen. Already it is disabled. That means you don't need to write any else condition. That is what forward jump. Forward jump means an if statement without else. That means it will proceed to next only when the condition is satisfied. If not satisfied, it will stop. Actually, how you show this in general is decision making. Forward jump is nothing but actually you start execution. You start the execution. That means forward jump, how it is defined. So you start the execution. After you started the execution, you will continue with some set of statements. After that, at a particular stage, you have to take a decision. If decision is true, then you will continue with another set of statements. If it is true, you will continue with another set of statements. After that, you are going to stop. So you are going to stop. That means it is going to stop. So here decision making, is it true or false? If it is false, that means condition is not matching. What will happen? If condition is not matching, it will stop. It will not do any alternative. If condition is true, then it will continue. It will continue to these statements. After that, it will stop finally. But if it is false, it will directly stop. There is no alternative process. This is called forward jump. Now the same thing I have to apply everywhere. Copy. Okay. Next what? Verify CVV. Here we have to give CVV dot value. So this CVV should verify with user details CVV. Okay, na? Then which one should be enabled? We have to enable what? Expiry. Expiry dot disabled is false. Similarly, you have another one. What is that? Verify expiry. So we have to get expiry. How do we get expiry? So expiry dot value. Expiry dot value is drop down value. If expiry is matching with user details expiry, then what should happen? So BTN pay disabled must be false. Now you see here, I am entering the card number. That means we are entering the card number. This is the card number. That means here we are entering the card number. After we finish the card number correctly, if it is correct, then only CVV will come. You can even get that CVV highlighted. Usually we can put the cursor inside it. Usually what we do is here, CVV document dot get element by ID. What is it? CVV have focus. You can set focus. Right? Automatically cursor will start blinking there. That means you entered correct card number. After that you finish it, then it will go cursor there. Directly it will highlight there. You entered 4534 and after that expiry. So what is it? It is 4534. So we haven't written here. Everywhere we have to write on blur. On blur verify what? CVV. Here on change it is not on blur. On change, because when user is changing then we have to verify what? Expiry. So these are the options. Now entered card number. So fine. So 4534, then finish. Expiry will come. You are selecting different expiry. It's not working. 24, then pay will work. That is forward jump approach. So if you want, you can even hide them, right? Not only just disabling, you can hide the containers. That means actually, suppose this CVV is present. This CVV is present in a div. That CVV is present in a division. That CVV is in one div. And for this ID as CVV container. And this expiry is present in a div. That expiry is present in a div. And it is having ID as what? Expiry container. So here expiry container. Right? Here we are writing expiry container. So expiry container. Now we have this button. Button already have an ID. I don't want this container to display. So style display as none. We are using none. And this also we are defining style display as none. We are not displaying them. And the button is also having style display. We have style display as none. All we have to control. Just what you have to do is, whenever verify card number is correct, document dot get element by ID CVV container dot style dot display. Display is what? Block. So if CVV is correct, document dot get element by ID. What is it? Expiry container dot style dot display is what? Display is block. Right? If expiry is correct, so then so document get element by ID btn pay dot style dot display is what? Block. These are the techniques. Initially, you will not see them. Only card number. And when user enters the card number correctly, so 4445556667890, then it will get CVV. You entered the CVV correctly, so 4534, then it will get the expiry. You are selecting a wrong expiry, it is not showing. You select correct expiry, then pay will come. That is forward jump. These days, you see this kind of approach. People, you see Amazon login or anybody. So Amazon, I want to log in into Amazon. Then when I say sign in, first they will ask mobile number and continue. If this is success, then only they will ask password. In the next screen, they will ask password. And you will not be asked with password until or unless you successfully complete this. This is a basic approach, right? Of course, I am writing blur na. Instead of writing blur, after writing this, I can put a continue button. That means on that button click, it will verify the card number is correct or not. If it is correct, then it will go to next. It will display CVV. Right? This is important. You can manage that. For example, if card number is not correct, other details will not open. So 444555666, and you see, so 789, and you can see it's not working. Until you enter the correct 0, now it is working. Right? That is important how you manage. This is the approach. Generally, we call this approach as what? Forward jump. What is the forward jump approach? Forward jump approach, it will not go to the next step until the previous condition is satisfied. Once the previous condition is satisfied, then only it will go to the next. This is simple decision, and we call this as forward jump. This is forward jump. The second important is simple decision. Simple decision we used everywhere. Simple decision is nothing but actually simple decision. So it comprises of one alternative. For every condition, there will be one alternative. Then it is simple decision. How you write simple decision? Syntactically, we write if and if condition and condition is true, what statement have to happen? Statement on true. And if condition false, we have to use an else. Else we need to define condition statement on false. We will have one alternative, only one alternative. Then it is called simple decision. Actually, this generally technically we call if and else clause. If and else clause. It is not if and else statement. Else is not a statement. Else is a clause. Clause means which is executed as alternative. That means you should not call if and else statement. If you write if and else statement, can I write only else without if? Then how it is a statement? Else is not a statement. Who is statement? If. Else is a clause for its if. So you should say if and else clause, not if and else statement. Either if statement or if and else clause. Right? That is technical. So what is point about else? If the condition is not satisfied, you can do an alternative thing. In different occasions, we need like that. Alternative means what? Suppose they haven't entered card number correctly. If they haven't entered card number correctly, then you are not showing CVV. How they know that they haven't entered card number correctly? We should put some message saying that the card number is wrong. Or you see one more here, important in this situation. Suppose I went back. After going back, I change the card number and it is not a valid number. Then still CVV working. So what is the solution if you want to still continue forward jump? If you want to still continue forward jump, once the card number is correctly entered, you can cease that so that it cannot be modified. Understood? So that they cannot go back and modify. If they can go back and modify, you need an alternative to write. How to tell me how to prevent modification? How to prevent modification? They should not be able to change it. Then what you can do is, if card number is correctly entered, then document get element by ID. What is it? Card dot, we can just put read only true. We can put read only true. That means now what happens? They entered card number. So 44455666789 Then CVV came. And after CVV came, they can go back and do some modification. It should not work. Actually, that read only, read O may be capital. Huh? Yeah. You can see now you entered 44556667890 and enter. And I go back and do modification. It's not working now. I am trying to modify. It's not working now. I can't modify this. This looks good. Otherwise, you need an alternative. Alternative means if they enter wrong, then again hide CVV. Right? You can put a alternative message saying that invalid card number. You can do that. These kind of approaches are important. So when you need an alternative, if they can go back and modify, then we have to put an alternative. You can prevent that also. In forward jump itself, once they enter correct, then cease. Don't allow to modify. You can put like that. That is what actually the forward jump and simple decision. Simple decision, we will see some examples now. How to handle simple decision, multi-level decisions, and multiple, and why you need them. Why you need them, where you need them. That is the important. That we'll see tomorrow. Right? All these days, you might have learned them, but only the point is you don't know correctly where to utilize them. That is primary thing a developer should learn. Where to use multi-level if, where to use multiple if. What is the situation for that? We need to learn. That we will see in next session. Tomorrow we'll do that. Okay. Tomorrow we will see some examples with multiple decisions, multi-level decisions, and switch cases, how to use them. Okay.